So do I renovate my house or rebuild it or refurbish it? Sounds like a simple question, but the answer can be fairly complex. Hi, this is Bruce Boyes from Homes and Life, affiliated with homesandlife.com. Today I'll take a look at renovations, and if I've provided some information of value, please click the subscribe button down below. If you're wondering why I'm sitting at the island in our kitchen, it's because this kitchen is an example of a renovation that we did recently. I'm not going to go into the details of this reno at this point, as it'll be a topic for a future video. It does, however, add to the value and the enjoyment of our house. I believe that before you do anything to a house, when you're considering updating, you need to establish what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to do a quick refresh or refurbish to make a house sell quicker? Or are you doing this work in order for you to enjoy the house more? The condition of the house will play a big part in the level of improvements done to it. Renovating is a good time to remediate some of the problem areas, for example, dry rot, termites, mold, and other things. You should also make a list and prioritize to determine where your money is best spent. But if you really love the location or the lot or the charm of the house, then it can be money well spent. The word renovate means to restore to good condition or make as new. First, realize that there are different levels of renovations. I'm going to categorize them into three different levels. I'll talk about these three levels, but the line between them is not exact. It does blur a bit. The first level is refurbishing, where the work that's done is mainly cosmetic or aesthetic. This can include painting, changing doorknobs, light switches, electrical outlets. You may want to change some lights or taps. And countertops are another item that will fit well with refurbishing. Much of the refurbishing can be done by DIYers, making the cost quite reasonable. I'll just add a note here though. Any work that's being done should look like it was done by a professional. Countertops and paint are good examples of that. As a realtor, when I walk into a house, I should not be able to see poor workmanship. It calls into question the quality of the work done and can reflect on the value of the property, as the buyer may think that they may need to have the work redone. The refurbishing work should be done with a purpose, and not just to cover up a defect or a problem in the house. Brings to mind the old saying, you can put a lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. The next level of work can be called renovating. Here you're considering the goal of making the house or the room to be like new or better than new. And this can involve quite extensive work if you choose. It might involve new windows, new flooring, new trim. Some people will even strip the house or part of the house right down to the studs at this point. And they'll have the wiring, the plumbing, the insulation, the drywall all redone. It's a good time to possibly do changes to the floor plan and make it a little more efficient or enjoyable. The mechanical systems may be updated at this point as well. Things like the furnace, the hot water system, the air conditioning if applicable, they can be changed in this stage. Most people will opt for high efficiency appliances at this point. And there may be some savings when using the new high efficiency furnace and hot water tank, but usually not enough to pay for the cost of new ones, at least not for very many years. However, there is the expectation of trouble-free operation for years to come. And the exterior of the house may require some updating as well. First on the list should be shingles. If they're at all questionable, then have the new shingles installed. If you're selling the house, the new homeowner will feel reassured that the shingles will last for many years to come. And also look at the siding. Can it be improved with some paint? Or would you be better off just to tear the siding off and have new siding installed? The house will have a whole new look and feel with these changes. But a word of caution. All the work done should be discussed with the city or county offices, and any permits required should be taken out. This usually also requires that the work being completed will be done by professionals. If the work is not done with applicable permits, sometimes an insurance company may decline coverage of this house or building. And of course, this might not even be known until there's a claim. Next is the major overhaul or rebuild of the house. That's when you get into changing the structure of the house. Most common is an addition, but some have taken off the roof and made it into a two-story house. And old houses, they may also need major foundation repairs or modifications. These are big jobs and tend to cost big dollars. Before seriously considering a rebuild, talk to some engineers, some architects, maybe even some realtors, as well as your city or county. It's a good thing to find out ahead of time if a rebuild on the scope of what you're planning will be approved by the city, and if it's a good idea or not. One of the challenges of doing a rebuild like this is to make sure that the project blends in with the rest of the house. Occasionally we see a house that has had a structure just kind of stuck onto the side of it. It often does not look good. It does not add to the curb appeal. And in addition, the finishing and the trim need to be uniform, both the new side of the house and the old side of the house, to make the project look like it's an integral part of the house. In some case, it just makes more financial sense to tear down the old house and build new instead. So to this point, I've given you ideas of the challenges and benefits of a refurbish, a renovation, or a rebuild. And here's some tips to keep in mind while you're deciding what to do. One of the first things to consider is money. There are some financial advisors who feel that house upgrades should be cash flowed. That means you do the work or you have the work done as you have available cash. This in turn eases the financial burden as opposed to borrowing the money for upgrades. It also reduces financial stress, but it does require patience. Another question that comes up is, should I use a general contractor? Well, in most cases, you won't need a general contractor. You can be your own general contractor as long as you're capable of being organized. You will need to be budgeting, planning, getting quotes, making sure the timing is right for the tradesmen. And a lack of organization tends to lead towards budget overruns. It requires some diligence, but it can save you money. When budgeting time and money, keep in mind that it often takes longer than planned for the budget to get to completion due to unforeseen circumstances. And the project will quite often run over budget. So after you've done the budgeting of expenses, figure in an additional 10 to 20% contingency amount. You'll probably need it. And keep track of your expenses so that you know where you are with your budget. And here's another thought. Document the project with photos or videos. This can be handy if the insurance people ever question the work that has been done. Future buyers may find these photos of interest as well. And it's also good for those of us with shorter memories who can't quite remember how part of a project was done. And keep in mind the ROI, the return on investment. Some areas in a renovation will not increase the value of the property as much as the money spent to renovate that area. Improvements in the kitchen and bathroom usually give good returns, and paint usually pays off, especially if it's done well. So I do hope that I've given you some information to help you in the planning of your renovation. And again, if this video has been of value to you, please click on the subscribe button down below. There are more videos to come. Remember, life is an adventure. I'll talk to you again soon.